Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Friday, March 7th, 2025, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $sign ORION or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got some spring training baseball, MLB action, the Los Angeles Dodgers versus the Seattle Mariners. Let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get into the starting lineups. And on the thumb, on the left, arguably the greatest player in baseball, Shohei Ohtani. It's showtime. And on the right, you know what it is, the best catcher in baseball, Big Dumper, Cal Raleigh. Now let's get into the starting lineups here first for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Leading off for the Dodgers at second base tonight, Tommy Edman. Batting second, playing left field from the Giants, Michael Conforto. Batting third, playing right field, the former Blue Jay and Mariner, Teoscar Hernandez. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, center fielder, Kike Hernandez. Batting fifth, catching tonight for LA, Austin Barnes. Batting sixth, playing third base, Chris Taylor. Batting seventh, DHing tonight for the Dodgers, James Outman. Batting eighth, playing first base, Michael Chavis. And batting ninth, shortstop, Hyung-Sung Kim. And leading off for the Mariners, center fielder, Victor Robles. Batting second, playing third base from the Padres, Donovan Solano. Batting third, catching tonight for the Mariners, Big Dumper, Cal Raleigh. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, DHing tonight, it's Jorge Polanco. Batting fifth, playing first base, Luke Raley. Batting sixth, playing shortstop for the M's, Dylan Moore. Batting seventh, playing right field, Lazaro Montes. Let's go. Batting eighth, playing second base, Ryan Bliss. And batting ninth, playing left field, Spencer Packard. Let's go, baby. And on the mound for the Mariners, Emerson Hancock. Let's go, baby. Let's go, Emerson. Make it a game, baby. First pitch outside to Tommy Edman. 1-0 count, 1 ball and no strikes. Daniel in the building, what's good? Sarah in the building, what's good? Pitch is low and inside. 2 balls and no strikes from Hancock to Edman. Yeah, I'm glad that the Raiders got the job done. Now they just have to get Lockett over there as well. And obviously Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly know what they're doing. Some, questionable hiring. With Kubiak with Seattle, and I think a lot of fans and players are not really happy about that. And again, it kind of feels like Seattle's going a little bit backwards, and the Raiders are taking advantage. And we already know the Raiders have a lot of holes, right? They have a lot of holes to fill at many, many positions. Their offensive line is better than Seattle's, though. So I'm definitely excited to see where this goes with Pete Carroll, Chip Kelly, and then now Geno Smith on the Raiders. 3-1 count, pitches outside, and Tommy Edman is walked. Come on, Emerson. You need to be better than that, baby. And a nice job by Tommy Edman being patient in the box. Next up, the former Giant rival left fielder today, Michael Conforto. Pitch it there for a strike. Finally, let's go, baby. 0-1 pitch, wide right. Good catch there by Cal Raleigh. That could have been very dangerous. 1 ball and 1 strike to Conforto. Yeah, I mean, you got Mad Max there, you got Bowers there. You still need to kind of, beef up the offensive line, but the way that it sits, it's better, than, what they had there in Seattle. And again, they'll have to be able to figure out what running back fits Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll's style, since they don't have Josh Jacobs there anymore. Devontae Adams is no longer part of that program either, obviously, from, all the different moves. So, but at least they end up having a few pieces. Now, you just need to keep building away, and we'll see where it goes. Reflect in the building. What's good? We were just talking about how we love the addition of Geno getting out of Seattle. And it's funny how a couple moves or, based on coaches, GMs, or assistants or coordinators, whether they be a good fit or a bad fit, it definitely can rub people the wrong way. And like I was mentioning before you hopped in, there's going to be a lot of fans that aren't really too happy with the moves with like Kubiak and others that they brought in. And again, Lockett, obviously getting out, and the, Seahawks kind of have a tendency of not rewarding, their OGs on trying to make them a Seahawk for life. They say it's a business, but there's other teams that do it. A prime example is a guy like Bobby Wagner. They gave up on him way too soon, right? He goes to the Rams, has a great season. Then Seattle brings him back, but what do? They just let him walk again after bringing him back the second time, and then now re-signs with Washington. And, he's one of those maybe exceptions as we get a nice punch out there by Hancock to Conforto. But he's one of those rare exceptions that he is a Hall of Fame player, and he hasn't slowed down. And, it's kind of unfortunate that that's the way that the team operates. But the Commanders are going to end up getting a stud coming back again. And you've got to think, if Bobby Wagner wasn't on the Commanders last year, they probably don't make it all the way to the NFC Championship game. And that's facts. If you look at their defense, they don't really have a whole lot. They definitely overachieved towards the end of the year, but you never can take a guy for granted like that. And kind of unfortunate that you don't get to see Lockett retire there, but it is kind of one of those things that they're known for, on getting rid, of their stars and getting rid of their icons when they put in a lot of time, whether it's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years. And again, if DK ends up getting traded, I have a feeling that even though he may not be worth the dollar amount that he's getting paid, I have a feeling that they will miss him, because the person that you bring in may or may not be as good as DK. You remember, with the Titans and A.J. Brown, once they got rid of him, they thought, oh, we're just going to bring in a couple other guys and we're going to get the job done. And obviously that has not worked out very well since post Tannehill, right? Post A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry. So. Because remember, they thought Treylon Burks, they're like, oh, he's going to be the new A.J. Brown. The guy's caught barely anything, for like touchdowns and receptions. So big swing and a miss on Teoscar Hernandez. 2 balls and 2 strikes. How are you? Glad that you're here. Oh, Jacoby Myers is great. Very underrated. One of the more underrated wide receivers in the league. Jacoby can do it anywhere, and he's more of a natural too. But if you have injuries, he can be the one, but you would probably want someone a little bit better than him, but definitely a good compliment for your wide receiving core for a player like that. I would take him at Tampa if that means anything. Top of the first, 0-0. Emerson Hancock on the mound, 2-2 pitch to Teoscar. Right down the middle. Got him. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Reflect with the tenor. Appreciate you. Stacks on stacks. Racks on racks. A little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Way to bring the electricity right out of the gates. Thank you so much. Teoscar Hernandez, sit down. So we started off with Tommy Edman, then Michael Conforto, the former Giant, now Teoscar Hernandez, and then to one of my favorites, Kike Hernandez. Let's see what he can do here with a runner at second with 2 outs. Let me know what you want to do for photos, and I got you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. We're at 10:90 to go. Big swing and a miss. Yeah, and plus, just the way that things are, you've seen, for example, the backlash that Hulk Hogan has gotten, right, for being racist, right? So again, even though all these years have passed, right, the wrestlers in the back and the fans, we don't forget, and again, so it's like you can come out with your own beer and you could have been Hulkamaniacs, you could have been, saying your prayers and eating your vitamins, and even me loving Hollywood Hogan, but obviously if you're going past wrestling and the person who he is, he's not a good person overall. And obviously there's a lot of things that he said and his actions have shown that, and being racist on top of it doesn't make it, acceptable. And I feel like with the Kubiak thing, there definitely is some controversy there. I don't like that hiring either. And again, I imagine there will be a lot of people kind of questioning, some of these moves after this year. Some of them are going to be a little naive, thinking that, oh, it's not that big of a deal. But after Lockett's gone, Gino's gone, DK gets traded, and they're trying to say that they want to get a first and a third, and we get out of the inning there. Nice job, Seattle. But again, I'm not sure how many teams would really want to give that much for a player like him. He's still in his prime, but again, he doesn't really give you everything that you think that you would get. Like, he's still a good receiver. He definitely compares to like an A.J. Brown based off size. But I feel like when you watch him, it just feels like he hasn't really hit his full potential yet, based on whatever that is. If it's based on workout regimen, diet, effort, skill set, wanting to be better, or just being comfortable being a millionaire. But again, it seems like, DK is one of those guys who could be like a top, 10, top 15, top 20 receiver. But ever since he came up, I've seen great games from him, but I've also seen some games where it made me kind of scratch my head a little bit, like where he kind of disappears a little bit. But again, they'll start to see what happens, and it definitely opens up the door in the draft and free agency, what they want to do at quarterback, running back, wide receiver. But you got to think, what do they need to succeed? They need offensive line and defense. And now you're making all these moves with quarterbacks and running backs and wide receivers, and a wide receiver yet you don't want anymore and Lockett. Maybe you get rid of DK. What's this team going to look like? It seems like they're kind of going backwards, not forwards. And, I like what I'm seeing from the Raiders. And they obviously are in a position where they're at the bottom and they're just trying to go up. And I kind of like the trajectory with Chip Kelly paired up with Pete Carroll. So, yeah. I mean, obviously, I would rather have Godwin, but yeah, I mean, we'll see where it goes. And plus, there'll be injuries that may end up hindering, if Cooper Kupp can stay healthy. So we'll see where that goes. Yeah, just a bunch of crap. We already know AJ's going to be there. Stormbum in the building. What's good? Yeah, Turbo getting traded. Unfortunate, but, rumors were kind of swirling. Victor Robles now in the box. Robles pops that one foul. Let's go, Victor. And then we got Robletsky here on the mound for the Dodgers. Well, I mean, really what it comes down to is if they can actually get the compensation that they're wanting. I don't really know how many people would be giving a first and a third for DK. Like if you go back and look at all the notable wide receivers that have gotten compensation in a trade in the last 10 years, that's pretty high. Like the only person, that got like a real haul, was probably like Tyreek. And obviously very deserving of the haul that they ended up getting, being, one of the best receivers in the game. Not saying that DK isn't, but he's not really on the Tyreek level, and we'll see where it goes. But there we go. Victor Robles with a high throw over first base. We'll take that. And again, with all of these problems, kind of arising, and then also having to, work on the offensive line and the defensive. Now, if you're having to worry about quarterbacks and, running backs and wide receivers, and you have to fill those gaps, that means that something's going to be left out. And if you want to get better, you got to get that offensive line better and that defense. And it seems like we'll see what the priority is for the coaching staff or not, because if they don't focus on the O-line and the defense, it's just going to be the same team with different faces on it moving forward, where they're going to struggle, at times on offense as well on defense. If they can firm up those things and not, be, trying to get the biggest names, the sexy names in the draft at like wide receiver, and they focus more on O-line and defense, that will be better. But now with all these holes possibly opening up, we'll see where it goes. Throw to second, double play attempt, got him. Victor Robles, Donovan Solano, double play there for the Dodgers. Next up, big dumper, catcher Cal Raleigh. Pitch is low and inside. 1-0 count. And the Blazers are hanging tough with the Thunder, down only a few, 44-41, with about 5 minutes to go. Let's go Blazers. First time we played them at the beginning of the year when we were terrible, we lost by almost 30. Last 2 times we played the Thunder, we only lost by 10. So, again, we definitely are playing like, a top 15 or top 20 team lately. But, again, a really rough road stretch. We'll see where it goes. 1-1 pitch to Cal Raleigh. Big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Big Dumper. Let's go, Cal. Bring that electricity, baby. Check swing. Did Cal go? He did not. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two-2 pitch. Cal pops it up. Should be a routine play here in left field. And there it is. An easy 1-2-3 inning there for the Dodgers and the Mariners. End of the first, and we're knotted up at 0. I got to get a photo of, even though he probably won't be pitching too long, I want to get one of Robleski here. Come on, Blazers. 48-43 with 4 minutes to go. Come on, baby. Let's see who's up next here for the Dodgers. Next up for the Dodgers in the 5-hole today, catcher Austin Barnes. Batting in the 6-hole in the second position in the lineup here tonight, third baseman Chris Taylor. And batting third in the 7-hole, DHing tonight for LA, James Outman. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 20 within the first hour, hour and a half, 30 to 50 overall. If we hit the algorithm, and obviously 100 in the donos on every stream, we're at 10. We need 90 to go. All right, take care. Keep your mental health, in a good spot. I don't know how the mental health will be over there, but good luck with that, with all the other individuals going over Seahawk information. I imagine there'll be a lot of arguing. Top of the second, 0-0 Dodgers and Mariners. 0-1 pitch from Hancock to Austin Barnes, fouled off. Lucky fan got a ball there. Now behind in the count, 0-2. Yeah. Oh, David. Yeah, but again, getting Donovan Mitchell and then having Darius Garland overachieve, and then getting the right pieces role player wise. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people thought that Cleveland, would get players like those, let alone get to a point after post LeBron. But here they are, and they're the best team in the Eastern Conference, not named the Boston Celtics. So there'll be a few other teams, trying to catch up. Like the Milwaukee Bucks and a few others, but we'll see kind of where it goes. Same thing on the Western Conference. We know it's the OKC Thunder and the Denver Nuggets, but you can't count out the Lakers and the Grizzlies, even though they don't maybe have a complete team like the other two, like Denver and OKC. But you never know. Playoffs are a wild thing, and you never know what team might have injuries. As we get closer to the playoffs, as that ball deflects off Cal's mask. I hope he's okay there. But it should be interesting as we get a little bit closer to the NBA playoff structure. Barnes, and then right past our shortstop there. Nice base knock for Austin Barnes. Dylan Moore, come on, my guy. You got to get that. Next up for the Dodgers, third baseman Chris Taylor. Cool kid in the building. What's good? Yeah, I don't think you're going to get a Lakers-Cavs final, but I mean, it is possible because those are going to be two of the top 6 teams right now. I don't think that, I mean, as far as Adam Silver is concerned, they probably want Lakers Celtics if they could have their choice, but because obviously OKC Thunder and the Cleveland Cavs, there's kind of small markets, even though they're very good teams, but I don't know how the ratings would be. Probably not very good. You probably would get more people paying attention, if you could get Lakers and Celtics, but I'm not sure if you're going to get that matchup though. Top of the second, 0-0 now with 2 outs. Next up is James Outman. He's got a lot to prove this year. First pitch for James is a strike down the middle, 0-1 count, 79 miles an hour. Cool kid in the building. What's good? 0-1 pitch from Hancock. Outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Little unfortunate news for George Kirby. He's got a little bit of soreness, so they shut him down. So we're not going to see George Kirby for about a month. So he may not even make his first regular start during the regular season. But I hope that whenever he does come back, it should be about a month from now, when we're just getting into the first couple weeks of the regular season. Hopefully Kirby will be okay, because they do have George Kirby and Logan Gilbert rated 2 of the top 10 pitchers overall in MLB this year. So with Bryce Miller and Brian Wu, trying to join them, up into the obviously top 10, but obviously if they have to start off in the top 30, or so, top 40, and work their way up, it'll be pretty cool if we can end up having 4 of our pitchers in the top 20, which you don't really see too often. All right, let's go to the bottom of the second inning and see who's up here for the Mariners. Next up for the Mariners in the cleanup spot tonight, DHing Jorge Polanco. Batting in the 5-hole, first baseman Nuke Rayleigh. Let's go, Luke. And batting third in the 6-hole, shortstop today, Dylan Moore. But the guy I'm really excited about today is right here, Lazaro Montes. I've been talking about Colt Emerson, Cole Young, Lazaro Montes, and Harry Ford. And we got a chance to see a little bit of Cole and Colt recently, right? But again, will be one of the first times, obviously on stream, that we're going to get to see Lazaro. And anytime we have a issue with someone like a Victor Robles that needs a day off, you can put Montes in right field. And definitely excited to see what he does offensively and defensively. And hopefully in one of these games, I can get all of them to play together. But I'm not sure if they're going to do that, with Montes and Ford and Emerson and Young. But that's our future. And again, if we're not going to end up paying a lot of money to bring free agents in, we got to pray that those 4 guys pan out. And then we have 4 below those guys to make us the #1 farm system team here in 2025. Nice. Yeah, Levante coming back for 1 year is great. You know, I don't know what's going to happen with him, but I would love for him to retire a Buccaneer. I mean, there's a reason why there's certain players that in, my book are a little bit higher than others, like Derek Brooks, Rondé Barber, Mike Allstott, guys that played with Tampa and only Tampa. Those are always going to be more special to me. Yes, I know it's a business, and Sapp went to the Raiders, right? And we had John Lynch go to the Broncos and whatnot, but, I'm always going to, hope for guys to be able to stay, with the organization. And, Levante David is a class act. He's the best linebacker we've had since Derek Brooks. And Levante, he'll make the Hall of Fame. He's that good. He might not be first ballot. It might take him 3 or 4 ballots to get in, but he'll get in. And I love his game. And obviously, I'm excited that he'll be back for 1 year. And maybe that'll be his last year. I don't know if it is, but I know he's getting close to, kind of thinking about retirement and whatnot. So. All right, Luke Rayleigh, 0-1 pitch, in there for a strike, behind in the count 0-2. Let's go, baby. Let's go, Luke. And on the mound, Justin Robleski. Rayleigh crushes that one foul. Count remains 0-2. $59-45 OKC with about a minute to go. Starting to pull away, but I'm not surprised. And I was thinking about doing that Thunder Blazers game, but when I noticed that the Mariners were playing the Dodgers and it was late, that really made the, question for me to answer a little bit easier. The only crappy thing is that all of the main starters on the Dodgers played yesterday against the Rangers. So you're not getting a lot of those guys like the Mookie and the Shohei Ohtani and the Teoscar. He's playing, but the Freddie Freeman, the Mookie, the Shohei, I was kind of hoping that we would get some of these guys sprinkled in, but, they're very strategic on, what guys are going to play in what games. And hopefully the next time around, we'll be able to see those guys out there. But you may see one of them DH later in the matchup. That wouldn't shock me. But, again, they are being, pretty selective and protective of some of their players. Robleski, bottom of the second, 2-2 pitch. And a big whiff and a swing and a miss by my guy, Luke Rayleigh. That's okay, Luke. I still love you. You'll be our starting first baseman. And we have 2 away. Next up, it's Demo Dylan Moore. And at some point, you would assume, he might be able to start at shortstop, and you have J.P. Crawford that can play short or second base also. But at some point, those guys got to get replaced by Cole Young and Colt Emerson. And at third base, we need somebody better than Jorge Polanco. I mean, that is a real concern, and I don't know if we really have a guy in the farm system that could play third base, but you never know. Some guys are multi-dimensional and they can do quite a bit. Curveball drops in there for a strike. Bottom of the second, 0-0 with 2 outs. Robleski on the mound. Demo in the box. Let's go, Demo. Let's go, Dylan. The chain is on. The Julio jersey is on. 0-2 pitch for Robleski to Demo. Pitches outside, high and tight. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Judah in the building. What's good, brother? 2-2 pitch to Demo. What were the Red Sox eating for breakfast this morning? 20 runs? I don't give a shit if it's spring training or not, but that's incredible, dude. 25 win over the Marlins. We got 1 hit apiece so far for the Dodgers and the Mariners. End of the second. going to the top of the third, and we're knotted up still at 0. Next up for the Dodgers in the top of the third, first baseman Michael Chavis. Batting second, shortstop Hae-Sung Kim. And batting third, back at the top of the order unless they make substitutions, second baseman Tommy Edman. Yeah, but I mean, if you're looking at the names that you have, you got some like fire names, dude. Duran, fire. Bregman, fire. Yoshida, fire. Story, fire. Like, you know, it's not like you guys have shitty players. Like, you know, half of your lineup, I would take those guys on the Mariners. You know, like I really, and I'm not joking. Like, you know, even though the Bregman thing with the Astros and, you know, the cheating and the rivalry and all that, but, you know, if you can put that to the side for just a moment and just look at Alex Bregman, the player, it's a good player, you know, and I really like Duran, Yoshida, and Story. So, I mean, you guys got something kind of cooking there, and hopefully you don't finish in last, obviously in the AL East this year. They in the building. What's good? Trident's up, baby. Oh, yeah, that's the X factor for you is Story, 100%. You already know what you're going to be getting out of Duran. You already know what you're going to get out of Yoshida. You're going to get consistency, and you're going to get some good fucking baseball. You bring in Bregman to give you that extra. You know, if Story can't give it to you, but if you can get Bregman and Story to match Duran and Yoshida's consistency, yeah, you guys got something cooking in that lineup, offensively and defensively, and I like it. Nice hit right there, right out of the gates. From Chavis, I see you. Next up, shortstop, Hae-Sung Kim. Hae-Sung Kim, my cousin. Let's go. Kim crushes that into left field and drops in. Say, what the hell? What kind of effort is that out there? Who the hell is playing left field for us right now? Who is that? Spencer Packard. I mean, I get it. You got the Mariner chain on, but you need better effort, my guy. Maybe there was a reason that you played at Everett. Run and make that fucking catch. What are you doing, Packard? I mean, there's a reason. I mean, he ain't going to be playing for us, but I want to see some better effort. That's normally Randy Arozarena out there, right? We got Randy at left, Julio in center, and Victor Robles in right. But come on, Spencer. I mean, I got a dope photo of you in the Everett with the Mariner chain. You got to show me. Next up is second baseman Tommy Edman. Yeah, but again, I like Duran a lot. I like Yoshida a lot. You know, Bregman and Story are going to be really good pieces there together. And now it's just about getting everyone else on the level of those four players. And, you know, and then if the pitching can get better, you guys won't be in last. And hopefully you guys can make a little bit of a run. Big swing and a miss for Tommy. Top of the third, runners at first and second with no outs. 1-2 count from Emerson Hancock to Edman. And I don't know, Reflect, have you read the news about George Kirby? They shut him down. So you're not going to see him probably in the first 2 weeks of the regular season. Had a little bit of soreness and inflammation. Nothing serious. Nothing where he needs surgery or anything like that. But they did have Logan Gilbert and George Kirby rated as 2 of the top 10 pitchers in MLB going into the season. And then also Bryce Miller and Brian Wu, not that far behind those guys. Definitely excited to see how our pitching staff will do. But again, injuries derailed us in our bullpen last year, not so much the starters. And, you know, we want to have Brash available, and just a little hiccup for us, but we're kind of used to it as Seattle Mariner fans. But prayers up for George Kirby. Hopefully everything will be okay. You know, all the Mariner homies hit me up, and I was like, yeah, it's okay, man. It's, you know, again, he'll be out about a month from now. So, you know, with the season starts at the end of March, you know, he might miss his first couple starts, but again, we should be okay. Edmond popped up right into center field, one away, and they're tagging up and moving over. Javis moves over. Runners at the corners now at first and third. Next up, left fielder, the former Giant, the rival, Michael Conforto. This was a very underrated signing for the Dodgers, and I love it. Yeah, we can't. I 100% agree. We cannot afford, to lose Kirby whatsoever. Throw to second. Hai Seong Kim with the steal at second. Now runners in scoring position at second and third. Pitch is low and into the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike to Michael Conforto. Emerson Hancock still on the mound. And if you've noticed and you've been paying attention to spring training, you're starting to see more pitchers go more than 1 inning. For the first couple games, it was just 1 inning. Now you're starting to see 2 innings, 3 innings, and even 4 innings out of some of the starting pitchers. And then you start to get some of the backups in there and guys that, might be normally in the bullpen pitching in the 4th and 5th and 6th inning, and they're just trying to get everyone sped up, to getting ready for the regular season, which is literally right around the corner. We're only a couple weeks away. 2-1 pitch from Hancock to Conforto, and therefore should have been a strike, but called ball. 3 balls and 1 strike. Sarah with a $5. Thank you so much. Every dollar counts. That one chopped foul by Conforto. Appreciate you, Sarah. Every dollar counts to help Paisley out, as well as myself. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks. A little cactus jack. Bang, bang. Way to keep that electricity going. We're at 15 now. 85 to go. Three-two pitch. Conforto. Double to center. Chavis scored and Kim scored, and just like that, 2-0 Dodgers. Not surprised. Emerson Hancock is kind of on the same level as Luis Castillo as being our 5. And again, most 5-hole guys are not very good. They're Castillo can hang from time to time, but he's progressively getting worse and worse since we traded for him in 2022. And Hancock definitely isn't good enough to be a starter. Maybe a bullpen guy, that comes in and helps, depending on what we have, or an emergency, guy for someone that got hurt. Like Hancock might be able to fill in for Kirby for a week or two. But again, I'm definitely looking at, other guys that we've drafted, and hopefully we can find someone else that we can rely on other than Castillo or Hancock. Because again, Woo's going to be money. We know Bryce Miller will be money. Kirby will be money. Gilbert will be money. But what about that number 5 guy? It might be Luis Castillo, and then now with the Kirby little setback, you're going to get Emerson Hancock. But, Hancock doesn't have the swagger or the stuff. He doesn't really do anything elite. And again, I know he's incredibly young, but we need somebody better. And we're down 2-0, and we're going to make a pitching change. Yeah, Emerson's way, way below Castillo. I mean, Castillo at the 5, if he's our 5th best, he still could be a 1, 2, or 3, or 4 for pretty much any team in MLB. Like, he's still a guy that is, could be in a rotation on any team in MLB. But for some teams, he would be the 1. Some teams he'd be the 2. Right, but for our team, he's like the 5, based off talent and where he's at in his career right now. But yeah, 100% agree. Hancock is nowhere near Castillo. He's levels below 100%. You want some Aaron Judge? Okay. Reflect anything that you want to see photo-wise. And really, the one guy that I'm excited about today is right here, Lazaro Montes. I got to see a little bit of Cole Young and Cole Emerson. Have not got a chance to get Harry Ford on stream just yet, and this will be the first stream that we get to see Lazaro Montes. Now, I've watched Ford and Montes and Young and Emerson play already because I watch almost every spring training game, and I know that is a little extreme. But again, someone like myself that's planning on doing, 150 plus games on stream, calling the games, I need to be able to know what's going on, in the quote unquote preseason in spring training Cactus League, so that way I can kind of, see if anyone's going to help us and get hot, and carry that momentum over, that Uncle Mo, into the regular season. Also to report guys that have gotten better, guys that have gotten worse. And hopefully, Polo and Mitch Garver will be better than they were last year. And Garv ended up hitting a home run, just recently. So I like what I'm seeing, out of early stages of Garv, and hopefully he'll get his swagger and his confidence back. And, all those idiots that were giving him threats, based off email and social media will stop that, and we'll see where it goes. Now we got a new pitcher in, Jason Roughcorn, last season in the minors. And hopefully we don't get too roughed up here. But if Teoscar goes yard, I wouldn't be that shocked. Top of the third, 2-0 Dodgers. 1 on and 1 out, 1-0 pitch. Big swing and a miss, 1 ball and 1 strike to Teoscar Hernandez, the former Blue Jay Mariner. Wish he still was in Seattle, but he's found a home in LA, and they would have been stupid not to re-sign a guy like Teoscar Hernandez. He was one of the key components, for not only, winning the home run derby last year, but they wouldn't have possibly, won it all without him. He was a very key contributor. You had Mookie, you had Freddie, you had Shohei Ohtani. I get it. But Teoscar was fantastic last year. Came up big in the biggest moments. 2-1 pitch is outside, 3-1 count. Yes. Teoscar fouls that one. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, I'm happy for Gino, and again, like I said, anytime you end up getting someone at a head coach, a GM, or a coordinator, and they're hard to work with, or if they have like racist tendencies, or they're, they have, a backstory that's not good, it could definitely cause problems. And, I like the way that the Raiders are going, and it definitely feels like Seattle's kind of going in the wrong direction, but we'll find out here in the next couple years. Next up is Kike Hernandez. Top of the third, Dodgers up 2-0. Runner at second with 2 outs. Next up, center fielder Kike Hernandez. And I'll get some Aaron Judge and some Gino up here momentarily. Little slow dribbler towards third base, foul. Oh, on SmackDown? Was Bianca involved in any way, or have they not released that information? Oh, yeah. I mean, I imagine there's going to be quite a few people that, that want out, and we'll see where it goes. And I don't know if anyone would be willing to pay a first and a third for DK. That seems high. He's not Tyreek Hill. And we already saw what he got, but a first and a third? Like, who do you think you are? You're not a top 5 receiver in the league, But I don't know. Maybe DK thinks he is. Maybe the organization is going to try to squeeze somebody thinking that that's a good deal. But Kike Hernandez singled to right. Conforto scored. And Kike to second. 3-0 Dodgers. Yeah, and it's kind of funny because you get a lot of those fans that thought that Gino wasn't good, even though he would put up big numbers. Yeah, let me see how good other quarterbacks do with a terrible offensive line. You got a terrible offensive line and you end up putting up top 5, top 10 stats, and then people are just hating because maybe they lost. Again, it definitely shows you who knows football and who doesn't. A lot of people watch football, but not a lot of people understand football, that, the business side of it, as well as needing an offensive line and a defense to win. And again, if you have quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, that's sexy, but that ain't going to win you games if the offensive line is terrible and if the defensive line and defense is terrible. So, sounds like, again, for anyone that ends up leaving and going to a new destination, it might end up being for the best for some of these guys. Roughcorn getting roughed up, but I'm not surprised next. Next up is Austin Barnes. Yeah, even second seems high to me. You know what I mean? Like maybe like a third and a fifth, or something like that. I don't know. But every player, based off age, how much money is on their salary, and if they're in their prime, and if they look at the stats and how they look, there's obviously going to be different negotiations that are involved. But, a first and a third, it sounds ridiculous to me. Even a second sounds kind of like, and again, we know that he's a good player, that, he's proven at times that he could be a top 10, top 20 receiver. But again, there's quite a few receivers in the draft this season that I feel that could put up similar numbers to DK. But again, it all really depends on, who's calling the plays, who's the quarterback, who do you have at offensive line, and, what kind of scheme are you going to be running? So check swing. Did he get him? Got him. There we go. Let's go to the bottom of the third, down 3. And the guy that I'm looking to watch right now is going to be up next. My guy, Lazaro Montez. Batting after him, second baseman Ryan Bliss. And batting third, hopefully we get better effort out of him in the box rather than in left field, Spencer Packard. Cool. Obviously, Mariner chain like the one that I have, but you got to be able to play some defense, Spencer. Let's go. Yeah, and again, there's just so many people that watch, and again, football is one of those things, it might be like the most popular thing, but I really feel that there's a different level of understanding with analytics, statistics, the business side of it, with ownership, GMs. And, I feel like some people, know a little, but it really depends on, how much you read and how much you actually understand. You can watch things with other people, but that doesn't mean you understand the same way as others. And I'm it definitely looks like it's and it doesn't really feel like they're going into like a rebuild, but I feel like this is a kind of a disaster waiting to happen there in Seattle, because you have to think, all right, if you're letting Geno go, right, and your offensive line is bad, and then you're not going to have DK or Lockett, you have JSN there, right? Like you have problems with the offensive line and the defense. You need to make sure you're drafting and getting free agents for those spots. But now having to waste some of your capital on another quarterback, another free agent quarterback, drafting a quarterback on top of wide receivers, like it's going to take you longer now to get better, because instead of focusing on the O-line and the defense like you should, now you're going to have to waste some of your capital on the skill positions. And, we'll see how that goes, but I don't know if I really like what I'm seeing, the direction of the team. Right, but no one brings that up, They don't want to bring that up. It's just wins, and losses, and in the wins, they may give him credit, maybe, but normally it will be towards like the running backs and the wide receivers or whatnot, or maybe someone on defense that had a good play, but then when they lose, it's all his fault, right? It's all his fault. Even if he had a good game, and they don't want to bring up that the offensive line is just terrible. There we go. Hell yeah. Get back. Lazaro Montez, baby. If we have any problems with Victor Robles, needing a day off, we can definitely plug and play Lazaro Montez in right field. Nice job, Lazaro. Love him. Next up is Ryan Bliss. Let's get some fucking runs on the board, huh? Go M's. Yeah, and on top of that, you got Pete Carroll and you got Chip Kelly. So it's like, you got the guy that's going to be kind of like the OG grandpa, the father figure. He's going to be a player's coach, and he's really going to care. And then you get the mastermind calling plays with Chip. There we go, Bliss. Right over the left fielder's head. Go, 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 Montez. Slide into third. Bang! First and third. Second and third. There we go. There we go. But again, if Ryan Day didn't have Chip Kelly, you wouldn't have seen, Will go crazy in those 4 games. And again, he kind of had a rough, little combine, practice and whatnot, where he didn't look very good in some of the throws and whatnot, because he had NFL talent all around him, on the line, at running backs, at wide receiver. I mean, he had plenty of NFL talent around him, but again, Chip Kelly was very instrumental on, picking apart the Oregon Ducks and many other teams, Tennessee, Oregon, just going through and plucking through. And again, they ended up, beating off a big victory, with Notre Dame. And I'm definitely excited to see what the Raiders are in for moving forward. 0-1 pitch to Packard. Pitch is low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Let's go, Spencer. Chain gang, like your boy. One pitch. Pitch is outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. $71-52 Thunder. Looks like I made a good choice. Figured. Plus, it's good to be able to get the reps in since we're going to be doing so many baseball games. You want to make sure you're getting the rhythm. And, I always try to do at least a couple, to get myself into the groove again, considering we do everything: basketball, baseball, football, hockey, wrestling, WWE, NASCAR. And obviously calling a baseball game is completely different than, doing anything else. We're at 15, 85 to go. And I know Reflect loves Lazaro Montez as well. One of our favorites in that farm system. Chopper got a little tip on that, and that's an out. Next up is Victor Robles. And we know, how talented Randy Arozarena is, but Victor Robles was probably the biggest pickup the Mariners have had in a long fucking time. And again, to be able to have a full season of Randy in left, Julio in center, and Victor in right, and if they can stay healthy for the full year together, player for player, who's got a better outfield player for player than us? I'm waiting. Like I said, especially if we can get Julio back to that rookie year Julio, instead of thinking of 20 and 20, we start thinking of 30 and 30 and eventually 40, and then hopefully before it gets, too late, hopefully we can end up getting a 50-50 type of year out of Julio at some point, I'm hoping. But again, I love Victor. He can bunt. He's got speed. He can move guys over. He himself can get himself from first, second, and third on his own. And again, good at defense, good in the box, great teammate. Love me some Victor Robles. Yeah, we already had a long road trip. Cleveland, the Sixers, Boston, and then obviously this matchup. We're definitely getting a little bit tired. And again, it's not like we're a top team in the West. We're just trying to get into the play-in. So we're trying to get 8th, 9th, or 10th. There's only 15 teams, in the West and 15 in the East, since there's only 30 total. So, we might be, the 20th best team out of 30 at this point. But, anytime you play the Cavs, the Sixers, the Celtics, and then OKC all on the road, you tell me how many games, even your favorite team would be able to win. Not many. That's a tough slate. So, I do like our team, but they definitely are gassed. This would be a time when you have a tough road trip like that. If we had DeAndre Ayton, maybe we would have been able to squeak out and upset, one of these teams or a couple. We did beat the shit out of the Sixers. We were up by 15 on the Cavs and blew that in the second half. But definitely weren't close in the Celtic game when, Derek White and Peyton Pritchard, go Ducks, went for 40 apiece. And they went for 40 burgers. We weren't going to win that one whatsoever, and I didn't really think that we would beat the Thunder. And I think the Thunder, if they don't have any injuries, they should go all the way. They should be able to win the championship this year, and SGA should win the MVP. You heard it here first. Little slow roll dribbler towards third base, foul. Bottom of the third, 3-0 Dodgers. Runner at first, runner at second and third with 1 out, 2-2 count from Robleski to Victor Robles. Pitch is inside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Still can't play defense, though. I mean, good for Luka losing weight and whatnot, but again, when you got LeBron James on the team, you're not going to be able to just be lazy, And then obviously when LeBron leaves, then he can go back to his normal ways of just playing offense and not playing defense. But I don't know if Luka's got it in him to actually want to play defense and put out that kind of effort. A very one-way player. And a very good one-way player. One of the best in the world, no doubt. But I don't really appreciate guys that don't, play defense or don't try. He got exposed in the finals last year, and, that is going to be hanging over his head for his whole career unless things change. 1-0 pitch to Donovan Solano, the former Padre. And hopefully we'll get some Mariner photos of him, but they just don't have a whole lot on socials just yet. Maybe after this game, they'll have a few. Big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yeah. I mean, I just call it how I see it. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's an amazing player offensively. He's one of the most popular players. He's one of the most unguardable players. He's very marketable. There's a lot going for him. And then obviously being the face of the franchise after LeBron James retires, of course. But again, doesn't try on defense. And, I don't like players that don't try on that side of the ball. Nobody is too good to play defense, where it's like not in them, to like, I'm too good for that. No. I mean, if you ever want the team to win a championship, you have to, be good on that side. But again, playing defense takes a hell of a lot of effort, in all sports. Hockey, in the NHL, in the MLB, in the NFL, in the NBA. It's not easy. It's the hardest thing to do. Ball 4. You got the ABS, so that way that you can actually, and I like the ABS that we got going on because it does give us a chance to challenge. And again, umps are terrible. So again, if it only takes like 5 seconds, they bring up the graphic, it shows where the ball is, problem solved. And you don't have to, sit there and have like an ump look at a screen, like a tablet, and then you're waiting for 5 minutes and it slows the game down. We want the games to be 2 hours and 30 minutes. And adding this element to the game, I think, is great because it doesn't take a lot of time. The results are on the screen and there's no doubting it. You see where the strike zone is at. You see where the ball is on the computer based off the graphic. And it's very clear. It's either a ball or a strike, and then you move on. And I like that. That's going to definitely help, a lot of teams that had issues with their umps last year, which is everyone. We're at 15, 85 to go. Yeah. He ain't no Tumani Kamara, baby. A guy like that, may not be a well-known player in NBA circles, but our team has, changed completely with a guy like that, drawing charges. And there's a reason why Tumani got, player of the month defensively. Blazers don't get any fucking award since Dame left, and pretty cool. It's a huge honor to be able to get something like that, and there's a reason why the Blazers have gotten better from the beginning of the season to the end, Now we got bases loaded. But of course, when we have bases loaded, we typically don't produce, right? It's like, depending on how many outs we have, it could be a double play, a pop-up, ground out, strikeout. But I love me some Big Dumper. Also, it doesn't help when you got the left-handed pitcher and I got Big Dumper, hitting from the right side. I'd rather have him hit from the left. But Cal pops it up, and we leave 3 stranded. What's new? Let's go to the top of the 4th, 3-0 Dodgers. It's okay, Cal. I still love you. Except for the Dodgers, third baseman Chris Taylor. Batting second this inning, DHing James Outman. And batting third, first baseman Michael Chavis, unless they make changes. And again, this is around the time where you start to see teams make changes in the fourth and fifth inning, and some of the starters will get replaced. So, the Raiders are in a good position. They're in a better position than the Seahawks right now. You got Brock Bowers, you got Geno, and obviously his, chemistry with Pete Carroll, and obviously bringing in Chip Kelly and OC. The Raiders are in a good position, and you might end up being able to bring in Tyler Lockett as well. So there's no fleecing going on. If anything, the Raiders ended up, getting a solid player that will be able to show that he'll be better than anyone that you've had at quarterback, in the last couple of years there. You had the Gardner Minshew and, Aiden O'Connell. You've had a couple guys that have tried, but I mean, this will be the best quarterback you guys have had since Carr. And again, it could be, it's not going to be probably someone you're going to have for a long, long period of time, but at least it'll give you someone that you can have a bridge where, this will be the bridge guy, where it can help you try to get to 10-7 and get to a wild card in year 1, 2, or 3. And it could happen in year 1. You never know. And then eventually you're going to have to find someone that Geno can mentor or that could be better than him. But for at least short term, it's a really good deal. And again, I think that it's going to work out for you guys. Yeah, definitely advantage Raiders. Paisley was in here, but she wanted out. All right, Logan Evans, last season in Double-A, 9-5 record with a 3.20 ERA. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, and the thing is, on top of that, and Reflect will know, and a lot of others, Seahawks have like the worst offensive line in football. So, again, when Geno was playing well, he never really got the full credit. They just wanted to kind of shit on him, when they ended up losing. But again, if you're putting up top 5, top 10 stats, and you have the worst line in football, just imagine if the Seahawks had a top 10 line. Hell, top 15. Like how many more wins that would have equated to. So again, I feel that Geno kind of ended up getting the short stick of it all, that he barely got the praise when they won and always got the blame, but the blame should have been on the fucking offensive line because it was so shitty. Again, if you had the Seahawk offensive line, on like the Eagles or the Chiefs, you would see guys like Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes struggling. They wouldn't be doing as good as they have been, and again, the offensive line is the gas. You can have the car, the Lambo and the Ferrari, which is the quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end in the skill position. You can have this awesome Lambo or Ferrari in your front yard, but again, the offensive line is like the gas. And if you got no offensive line, you ain't going nowhere. So, and again, sometimes it's like kind of a guilty with association, in a good way. So since you had Pete, that ended up bringing over Geno, and you might end up getting Tyler Lockett too. So just a simple fact, you had a coach that coached somewhere else, starts somewhere new, brings in Chip Kelly, brings in Geno, which is a better quarterback than you guys have had in a long time for short term. And then if you guys can get Lockett as well, that could be huge. You guys might be able to get yourself to 10-7, possibly year 1, and get to a wild card in year 1, maybe year 2. If not year 1, year 2, obviously year 3 will be the goal. Baby steps, 8-9, 9-8, 10-7. But again, of course, getting to 10-7 will be the goal. You're not going to win the division, but if you can, you got to compete with a lot of good teams there, with Harbaugh and the Chargers, right? You got the Chiefs there, Denver with Peyton and Bo Nix. So it's going to be a fucking battle for years to come in that division. But again, nobody's got a better coaching, carousel than, those 4 coaches there, right? Andy Reid, Sean Payton, and then you got Harbaugh and Carroll, joining the mix. I love it. Oh, the rain is coming down. Top of the 4, 3-0 Dodgers. Next up, Michael Chavis. Oh yeah. I mean, who won't like Brock? Brock, he's like the best, new tight end. You got Sam Laporta as well, but again, Bowers gets targeted. Laporta, it's kind of hit or miss if he actually gets the ball with all those weapons they have. So Bowers is like the number one target. So again, Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, and George Kittle are getting old. So really, the future is Brock Bowers 1, Sam Laporta 2, and any Raider fan has got to be salivating, on his development. And I can't wait to see how good Brock gets. Two pitch. Chopper. Throw to first. Got him. Let's go to the bottom of the fourth inning. We're down 3. Let's get some runs on the board. Next up for the Mariners, DHing Jorge Polanco, 0 for 1. Batting second, unless they make a change, first baseman Luke Raley. And batting third, shortstop Dylan Moore. But again, this is the kind of moment where you start to get some substitutions in the lineups. Now the Blazers only down by 5, 78-73. We were down by like 15, so I don't know what the hell happened because I've been calling this game, but I just flipped it over. And we're down by 5 with less than a minute to go in the third. Let's go. Yeah. Yeah, well, you wouldn't want to give up any draft capital for DK, so that would be out of the question. But if you can get Lockett at a respectable deal, and then maybe draft a Genti and then draft some guys on that right side of the line, again, once you firm up that line, everything, will come into play. Because again, you can have all of these sexy pieces at quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, but if the line stinks, you're only going to get so much, because the line will not be able to open up the holes. The running backs are not going to hit their full potential. And the wide receivers are never going to be able to get the ball on developing routes because, the quarterback's going to be sacked and on his back if the line is terrible. So, definitely I like the direction where you guys are going. And again, it all started with Carroll and Chip Kelly. And again, I would not be shocked if the Raiders make the playoffs in year 1, 2, or 3. But it really depends on what happens in free agency as well as the draft. And if you hit on free agency and the draft, you might be able to go 10-7 in year number 1 under Pete Carroll, which would be huge. Yeah, definitely got to get a right tackle, 100%. A lot of us here, we follow like every team. So, we're not just following our own. We follow everybody for the most part. So. All right, looks like Robleski's night is up. 5 Ks for him. Come on, Luke. And again, you see how often these umps are wrong, and then you get the ABS that comes up and it changes the call. It seems like 80% of the time. Like, I haven't seen, too many that have, stayed the same. Most of them get reversed. Now we got Jack Little, who last season played in AA and AAA. Pitch right down the middle. Yeah, again, you wouldn't want to give up capital when you have all these holes on offensive line and defense, for the team. It wouldn't make any sense. Yeah, and we'll see, if there is a team that's dumb enough to do a first and a third for him. But, again, we know not every team is created equal based off intelligence. 2 away. Next up is Demo Dylan Moore. First pitch to Demo, in there for a strike, 0-1 count. Yeah, he should be better on one-on-one balls. Again, we can see that, he's got that leaping ability. There's always those famous clips of him in the back of the end zone in like a practice and, being able to leap flat-footed and, get up there with like a 40-plus inch vert. But in games, sometimes, he has really good games, and in others, it kind of seems like he disappears, Demo pops up. And that's the end of the 4th inning, and we're still knotted up. I wish. We are down 3-0. Let's go to the top of the 5th. Next up for the Dodgers, 1-for-1, shortstop, Seung Kim, my cousin. Batting second, 0-for-1 with a base on ball, second baseman, Tommy Edman. And batting third, the former Giant, 1-for-2 with a run, 2 RBIs and a K. Left fielder, who's going to be awesome for this team. He's going to have an impact just like this guy did last year. I feel it. Michael Conforto. He's going to be very good for this team. We're at 15, 85 to go. Yeah, I think penalties, separation, contested catch rate, and also maturity. Always trying to fight like the Niners, and people can talk shit to him and then he can just lose his lid, and again, sometimes costly penalties, if you get guys that aren't mature, I want to be able to have a guy, and again, he's had plenty of time to get to a point since he's come into the league to mature, but the same player that you see now is kind of the same player that you had when he first came in, kind of a hothead. And again, hotheads in football, you got to have a little bit of crazy to be good in the NFL. That's 100%. But I feel that he lacks maturity, and I don't really know if he'll ever get to that point, unless maybe he gets much, much older. Maybe towards the end of his career, he'll finally figure it out. But, I don't know. I'm not sure if I would want a player like that on my team. Just an observation. All right, top of the 5th, 3-0 Dodgers. How much arguing is going on over there on the nest? That's something that I would not want to be a part of. No arguing. Really? That might be a first. Oh, 1 pitch. Crushes that one foul, behind in the count 0-2. Pitch. Pitch is outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Big swing and a miss. Got him. 1 away. Kim should be a good asset for the Dodgers as well. Next up, 0-for-1 with a base on ball, second baseman tonight, Tommy Edman. Had a pretty good role with the Dodgers last year, helping them win the World Series. 0-for-1 with a walk so far. 1-0 pitch. Pitch is high. 2 balls and no strikes. $84.75 with 9 minutes to go. Come on, Blazers. They're hanging around. And like I said, they're playing much better as of late. You know, it's been a kind of a rough road trip, but the first time they played the Thunder early in the year, we almost lost by 30. The last 2 times we played them, we've only lost by 10. So, again, and that still might be a big number to some, but, you know, when you're one of the bottom 10 teams in the NBA, but you've turned it around in the last month and a half, you can't expect every, matchup on the road to be a victory for Rip City, but, they're definitely trying their hearts out. Chopper. And just like I mentioned, what did I say? I told y'all that this was going to be a great piece. And back, gone! Michael Conforto, solo dinger, 4-0 Dodgers. Esp is strong. Plus, I watch so much of him on the Giants. Anytime the Dodgers and Giants play, I watch. Not only just for my dad, but just to kind of keep up with the rivalry. And both of those teams hate each other, just like the Hawks and the Niners and the NFL. And, anytime you end up getting a player that was a stud, on one side and they end up joining the rival, you're going to see an explosion out of Michael Conforto this year, just like you got when Teoscar first joined as well. Back. Gone! What a homer. Yeah, my only concern with all these things that are going on with Seattle is that if you already have so many problems on the O-line and the defense, and now you got to worry about quarterback and wide receivers, that's going to take away from building the team, the way that you need to go forward. You're having to waste capital on a quarterback or, use pieces that you could have went on the offensive line or the defense. Now you got to worry about wide receivers being, gone, possibly DK and Lockett, and obviously a new quarterback. And, it seems like, it's going to take now even longer to get where you want to go. Like I said, it's always going to be kind of baby steps, but that definitely is a concern. Now, if the offensive line and the defense were already done, no big deal. But, when the offensive line is one of the worst in the NFL and the defense is getting better but still has a lot of holes, the last thing that you want to do is waste capital on trying to figure out a quarterback or wide receivers when you have more desperate needs at offensive line and defense. But we'll see what happens with the crew and what they decide to do. I mean, it'll definitely it'll determine who gets hired and who gets fired within the next couple of years. It's a huge concern because the team's going backwards. They're not going forwards. If DK leaves, you got no Lockett, you got no Geno. I mean, what are the expectations from Hawk fans? Are you trying to go 10-7? Are you trying to go 7-10 and hit the draft next year? Like, what are the expectations based off all these moves? You'll see. Check swing. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Big swing and a miss. Got him. Down goes Teoscar, but Michael Conforto, the former Giant, says back, gone. But hopefully now, here in the middle of the 5th, we can get my favorite player in the lineup here tonight, Lazaro Montes, who's 1 for 1. We'll see if he can go 2 for 2. Batting second will be second baseman Ryan Bliss. And batting third, unless they make changes, left fielder Spencer Packard. Come on, Ems, let's get on the board, baby. Let's go, Lazaro. He the man. Yeah, I understand, man. I 100% understand. Yeah, definitely excited for the Ducks and the Huskies, that make it on that next level. And even though Atlanta is going to be the Bucks' main rival, it seems like, since the Saints might be going backwards and the Panthers are still nowhere near being relevant, I'm definitely going to be rooting for Michael to play great. And even if that means that I have to take an L here and there from him, so be it. I want him to succeed. I want him to catch up to Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels, and hopefully he will, and he'll be able to make a name for himself. And we'll see what Huskies and Ducks can do on my team. Obviously we got a few, which will be awesome to be able to see the development of McMillan. And I'm still hoping that Godwin will be a Buccaneer, but McMillan already proved that he can be the two. With Mike Evans. But again, we're getting close to the point where we might not have Mike or Chris, and that's a little scary of a thought, but we'll see where it goes. But I definitely will be watching a lot of Raiders, matchups, and that Raiders-Chargers matchup is going to be must-see TV twice a year. Harbaugh and Pete, to kind of go at it. But definitely excited to be able to see Chip, on an NFL sideline after winning a natty at Ohio State, and that definitely hurts their chances of repeating next year, not having Chip, but should be a good asset for the Raiders moving forward. All good. Take that shower. Bottom of the fifth, 4-0 Dodgers. Let's go, Mems. $87-85 with 6 minutes to go. Come on, Blazers. They're playing with some heart. I'm just happy that we're almost towards the regular season for, baseball. So football, yeah, we have all these things, with free agent signings, the NFL draft, but I'm actually more excited about just the Mariners. Even if it ends up being a disappointment at the end where we barely miss it. But, I love the M's. I love MLB. NASCAR is already in full swing, so my Sundays are already full of life. I even get the Xfinity races on Saturday, so I can watch that tomorrow as well. But again, I'm still going to be, tuning in for all of the excitement with the free agency period for the NFL as well as the draft. And Tampa's always in a good position based off our ownership and our GM. So, I don't really have a lot of the issues like a lot of you guys do with your favorite teams, which I'm kind of fortunate. Like, some of my teams, we're in it together where we're like, Mariner fans, and, they don't spend any money and the ownership is terrible. But at least on the Tampa side, I don't really have too many concerns, at the top. And, that's it shows, again, if you're able to win championships and go to NFC championship games and be a consistently good team, there's a reason. It's because you got good people at the top, and it trickles down, from the owner to the GM to the head coach to the coordinators to the players. And Baker Mayfield being my starting quarterback for years to come, I'm thrilled. Reflect with the tenor. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang, bang. But I'm super excited to do, Mariner games pretty much every day. And even when they play early in the morning, I'm still going to do them. Nice punch out there. Appreciate you, Reflect. And then tomorrow, I'm going to be watching the Xfinity race, but I think we're going to end up doing Cubs and Mariners tomorrow at noon. It's at 12:05, so I know it's kind of early, but there's not really a whole lot going on, on the baseball side. NHL side, the Kraken play at 9:30 a.m., too early. And then, it's pretty much I do the Xfinity race, but I'm already doing the NASCAR Cup Series race on Sunday, and we're not going to do race and race. So, and I would like to be able to see the Cubs and a little bit more of the Mariners, and maybe tomorrow's lineup might have, Colt Emerson or Cole Young or Harry Ford or maybe Julio or someone that I can see. So I'm pretty sure we'll do Cubs and Mariners tomorrow, and that'll be at noon. And then we'll do NASCAR Cup Series Phoenix at 12:30 on Sunday. And then probably Monday Night Raw on Monday. And then we'll see what we got on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday between the Blazers, the Kraken, or the Mariners. Yes. And again, to go for Graham Barton over Jackson Powers Johnson was the right choice. He went for the guy that had the flexibility to play guard, center, or tackle. And nothing against Jackson Powers Johnson. He didn't really have the greatest year last year. He struggled a little bit, with penalties and snapping the ball too early, too late. But he'll be able to find his rhythm. I'm hoping with this new coaching regime, they'll be able to get him comfortable. And I don't know if he'll ever be the best offensive lineman on that line, but he can definitely be like the second best or third, and again, based on how you got Colt Miller, he's considered the best. Jackson Powers Johnson, as of right now, he might be the second or third best, but they still need to fix, like you said, to reflect the right side. And, getting a Genty or, getting a really good right tackle could be really, really huge, moving forward. So definitely excited to see where they go. And the thing about the Bucs, what makes us so great is when we evaluate the talent and look at the tape and do the interviews, we go beyond, to be able, and a lot of teams, they will as well, but again, it's all about chemistry, team players, not me players. And we definitely try to stay away, from any red flags if we can, and finding good people that are, great teammates and great human beings. And then we bring it all together, less negativity, more positivity. And again, if you've looked at the Tampa Bay Bucs, from the early 2000s, when we beat the Raiders in the Super Bowl to the current roster, and when we had Bruce Arians and Brady and Gronk and AB and, had that squad, but again, if we didn't draft Tristan Wirfs and Antoine Winfield Jr., and both of those guys are like the best at their positions, it shows you how good we really are at evaluating talent, and that's not going to change anytime soon. Come on, M's. Not looking pretty so far, but that's okay. It's the Dodgers. STL in the building. What's good? And it's been the Michael Conforto game, which I'm not surprised. As soon as they signed him, I said, ooh, I knew this was going to be huge. Conforto doubled the center. Chavis scored. Kim scored 2-0 Dodgers in the third. Kike Hernandez single to right. Conforto scored. Kike to second, 3-0. And then Conforto in the fifth homered to right. So it is the Michael Conforto game. And that's why I like watching these games, even when the Mariners lose, to be able to see the other teams and the other new players joining the rosters and seeing how they fit early on in spring training. He's going to be a gem for them. Two-0 count to Barnes. Chopper, throw to first. No, second, force out, double play, got him. There we go. 2 away with the double play. Next up, third baseman Chris Taylor. .95-87 Thunder. Well, at least we're keeping it close. Oh yeah, Snell signing is huge, especially when the Dodgers are always going to be known for injuries, with their pitching staff. So you never can have enough pitchers. Starters, mid relievers, closers. You never can have enough. Pitches low to Taylor. 1 ball and 1 strike. Taylor 0 for 2. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Popped up. And a little dribbler there by Taylor. All right, we're at 11. We need 9 more to get to 20. If you're in the room and haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Now we're at 13. 7 more to hit the goal before the game ends, which we should be able to do. Oh, yeah, Roki is amazing. I mean, especially if you thought Yoshinobu was great last year. I mean, it's going to be a Japanese pipeline. Like every Japanese player, if they have their choice, they're going to go to LA first, And again, if they don't go there, they can always go somewhere where they already have a Japanese player like the Cubs with like Seiya Suzuki. So there's a few of them that are sprinkled, around, in MLB, but you're definitely getting a Japanese pipeline on the Dodgers for sure. But every once in a while, the Mariners will get one. The Cubs will get one. Red Sox, might end up getting one. When they had Daisuke Matsuzaka back in the day. So, you never know. And I really like Yoshida for the Red Sox. Like you're starting to see like the, Japanese contingency and squad, it's not like they're, Hideo Nomo and they can only pitch. Like you're getting guys that can do literally everything now. And there's a few phenoms in Japan still that are waiting in the wings to come over in the next couple years. Big swing and a miss. And James Outman is gone. Next up for the Mariners, center fielder Victor Robles. Batting second unless they have substitute. Third baseman Donovan Solano. And then batting third unless they take him out, Cal Raleigh. But so far it looks like they're not going to substitute those guys just yet. Might as well keep them in. We need to try to score at least something. Blazer free throw is good, 97-89 with 3 minutes to go. Doesn't look like we're going to win, but I'm proud that they fought hard on the road, and they're gassed from this road trip. Can't wait for them to get back home. We're at 25, 75 to go. What's good, my guy? Yeah, it also shows you too, if you end up having a bad GM, or someone that needs to be replaced, and then everyone else gets fired except him, that will hold your program back, and again, Schneider should have already gotten the can years ago, and it's a simple fact that he still has a job. And I know I'm not the only one, man. It definitely is, making the team have to work that much harder, to be able to get the job done. And they've already proven that they don't know how to properly evaluate certain position groups. But we'll see where that goes. Jack Dreyer coming out here for the Dodgers. Yeah, good for him. I mean, he, said exactly what all the fans and everyone else is thinking, that, the owner is an idiot. And obviously, you have certain guys that are going to talk for the owner, but, we need to get rid of ours as well, owner and GM if we could. But You know, it's like I said, the owner is important, you know, but just as important and sometimes more is the GM. And if you don't got a good GM and a good head coach, it can really fuck you, you know. And again, having a rotational, you know, position and a rotating door at head coach when the GM is the problem, that's a fucking problem, you know. Loyalty has its costs. And if you're going to be loyal to a bad GM, well, yeah, you'll see what happens in the future. And what's already happened over the last 5 to 10 years. Big swing and a miss. Victor Robles is down. Come on, Victor. We need you. Where's the bunting? We should have already had Victor try to bunt. Kind of shocked that he hasn't tried to bunt yet. Yeah. Cal is speaking the truth, you know. But, you know, Justin Turner, you know, it's like you have to call a spade a spade. Like, what do you want people to do? You just want people to be robots and machines. And, you know, when something is not, you know, okay, you just have to just be quiet and act like everything is, you know. Throw to first, 2 away. Next up is Cal Raleigh. Yeah, unfortunately, a common theme in Seattle, you know, where ownership and GMs and coaches, you know, may not be the right people that are there, you know. And again, if you look at the Kraken, the Mariners, and the Hawks, it's not really the most ideal situation in Seattle, you know, based on those groups of management. It could be a hell of a lot better for owners and management in those 3 teams. One-0 pitch. The Cal takes a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. One pitch. Big swing and a miss behind the count 1-2. One-two pitch. Big swing and a miss. Cal, I got to see that ball a little bit better, baby. End of the 6th inning, 4-0 Dodgers. Come on, Ems. We got to get at least one. Next up is Michael Chavis, 1 for 2. Batting second, Han-Sung Kim. And then batting third, coming in is David Boat. Got to get a David Boat photo here. Give me a sec. There he is. Former Cub. $107.89. So it looks like the Thunder kind of added on. Well, Blazers, you tried. Ended up losing by 18, but I'm not surprised. Appreciate you too. You know, it's hard to be able to find people that are going to be loyal and whatnot. And, you know, again, I'm not going anywhere. You know, I'm going to grind and grind and grind. And, you know, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. So you're just going to be along for the ride with your boy. You know, and again, this channel isn't going to be for everyone. You know, again, I don't put up with a bunch of bullshit like a lot of the other channels do. just because they want to have a higher sub count. If people are toxic or rude or an asshole, this is not going to be the place for you. Again, if they want to be able to bring that toxicity somewhere else, go right ahead. But, and if that means that it takes longer for me to hit my goals, so be it. That just means that we're going to have the right people here. Congrats. 6 months. Chavis with a nice hit there. Next up is Hai Seong Kim. You the man. I mean, it's always nice to be able to have newbies come in that become, family, here, but it definitely is far and few between. It's like, how many people do we have to have that are new that actually end up, being part of kind of the clique, and part of the regulars. Once in a while we get a new one that gets added onto the squad, but for every one that we add to the squad, we have to boot out like 5 or 10 or more. So quality over quantity. Kim 1 for 2, like him as well. Little Asian persuasion in the lineup. 1-0 pitch for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Cody Bolton on the mound. Hai Seong Kim. Big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ooh, Ty Pete is out there in center. Nice, another prospect. Pitch is low. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Get that raise. Three-two pitch from Bolton to Kim incoming. 3-2. Chopper right up the middle. Throw to first. 1 away. Top of the 7th, 4-0 Dodgers. So we got Ty Pete in center for Robles. Mastroboni coming in at third for Solano. Windish is in at first over Rayleigh. Thomas is in. Sundstrom is in. And Rodden is in. So they definitely, hopefully we'll get a few more individuals there. I would love to see Cole Young, Cole Emerson in there as well, which they just showed. Check swing. Did he go around? No, he did not. 2 balls and no strikes. And it's great, too. We're in a great time of year where we're in spring shows. So Grey's Anatomy is back. 911 is back. So if you haven't got a chance to take a look at your Hulu, if you haven't, depending on if you have cable or satellite, a lot of the shows that are in the spring lineup just debuted within the last couple days. So I definitely have been busy. Severance, I'm down to watching the last 2 episodes in that. And then got a chance to watch Grey's this morning, which I've been watching for, 20 years plus. And 911 was always good as well. Top of the 7th, 4-0 Dodgers. Runner at third with 1 out, 3-1 count to David Bote. Bote. Pitch is low, and Bote is walked. Runners at first and third now. Next up is Ryan Ward. 1-0 count from Bolton to Ward. Pitch is inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Ward, ground ball, force out at second. Double play, throws high. 5-0 Dodgers. Nice job, Ryan. Next up, Kyle Nevin. Breaking ball in there for a strike. Yeah, I like him too. I appreciate that, and again, I feel like a lot of the, streamers and YouTubers that have bigger numbers than me, they know who I am. They know what kind of grinding that we do over here, and again, there's going to be streamers that are more popular, and that's fine, and I'm going to always do it my way. And, again, it's always been one of those things that you have to work really hard. Can't compare yourself to anyone else. And again, when your time comes, you have to take advantage. And again, it took a long time to get to this point. And again, I'm very excited where the future holds for us here. Let's go to the bottom of the 7th inning, 5-0 LA. So it looks like it'll be Polo, maybe Windish, and maybe Dylan Moore, unless they end up changing that. But Polo will be up. Hogan Windish. There's Hogan. We ain't talking Hollywood. Yeah, but this would be great if we can get that. I just want to be able to see all of the prospects, Cole Young, Cole Emerson, Lazaro Montes, Harry Ford, Celestin, everybody. Absolutely. What's good, my NASCAR brother? Phoenix this weekend. I'm going to be watching the Xfinity Series tomorrow, but I will be doing Mariners and Cubs at noon, but I think the race is around 2:30, and I'm going to watch the entire Xfinity race tomorrow. Reflect with a 20. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, a little cactus stack, bang, bang. And it's kind of crazy, too, because I feel like I'm one of the very few, really authentic, full-time streamers that's out there, I don't play any narratives, I call it how I see it, and again, that bothers people, when you're real and authentic, especially since there's so many people that are fake and they like, fake things, fake people. There's a lot of, actors and actresses that do a hell of a job on YouTube and Twitch, and I'm not one of them. So what you see is what you get. And I appreciate every single one of y'all, including this guy right here. He's the man. Reflect. Super intelligent. He'll tell you just how it is, just like me. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, a little cactus stack, bang, bang, bringing that electricity. But not only the support and the friendship, but also, someone that thinks like myself, goes deeper than just the obvious and the black and the white, going with the stats and the analytics. And, again, I think a lot of people could learn a lot from Reflect. Facts. Including myself, which I have. I mean, we share information back and forth. There's a reason why we bonded. Oh, Celestin is in. Yeah, baby. But we got Hogan in here first. Hogan and Windish. And then we get Celestin in, baby. Feldman. Feldman, switch hitter, baby. Swag, swag, swag. It's cool to be able to see some of these photos of these guys that we've been talking about for years, but we actually are able to, show the progression of some of these guys. So, yeah, I think we both, we think alike, even though, we are, obviously a little bit of an age gap, but obviously between you and your son and your family and everyone. And obviously I feel that, we're definitely very like-minded, and again, sometimes others might get blinded, by their fandom. And, just because, your favorite team, has things in place doesn't mean it's right, and, again, if you blindly have this, naive faith that this is good and this is okay just because they're on the team, you'll get a rude awakening, because again, if you actually have seen, what it takes to be great and to win a championship and what it takes to be a legit team, just because someone is the manager or someone is on the team doesn't mean that that's the right piece and the right fit for the team. You can't have this just blind faith that everything is going to be good and just because they're on the team. And I feel like a lot of fans are that way. They're like, oh, they're on the team, so it's good. No, just because they're on the team doesn't mean it's good. Maybe good right now, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be someone that's going to be good for, the whole length of the contract or however long that they're there. Oh, 2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Sundstrom goes down. End of the 7th. 5-0 Dodgers. How you doing, Nat, man? Anything that you want to be able to see photo-wise, or do you want to wait until the game is over? But if you have anything that you want to be able to sprinkle in, you let me know. Come on, Mariners. But tomorrow we'll do Cubs and Mariners at noon. Hopefully we'll score at least a couple, and I get to see some of the young blood out there, and we'll see what players the Cubs have playing tomorrow as well. But I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully we get some more of our regular starters there. I mean, the only ones that we're not going to see are Kirby and Brash, and obviously, let's take a look here. So Troy Taylor might pitch, who had a fantastic year for the Mariners last year. I like him. Dollard is day-to-day, but will probably be back next week. And then obviously Jackson Kowar, obviously 60-day IL. So we're not going to see him until approximately in June. So and Horton, Nico Werner, and Javier Assad will be out tomorrow. And then Birdsell and Steele are day-to-day. So we'll see if we get them tomorrow. Shintaro Fujinami, former A, and Oriole and Nat. Another Asian sensation, Asian persuasion. Hopefully, we'll see what he can do here. One-0 pitch. Fujinami a little outside. 2 balls and no strikes. We're at 45, 55 to go. 2-0 pitch to Newell. Chopper to second. Throw to first. Very close throw. Got him. I feel like with baseball too, if you're a real true fan, like really true, like, you know, in the spring training, yeah, losing 5-0 is not fun, but I feel like it's a little bit more tolerable losing in baseball, you know, when you're doing the spring training thing, knowing that things aren't full strength, you know, compared to, you know, maybe other sports, you know, and based on how they set up their teams going into the regular season. You know, of course, I would love for us to get dubs, and you don't want to get goose-egged at all, you know, but again, I just want to see progression, and I want to see the young guys. I want to be able to match a name to a face and see them do some, you know, good things on offense and defense and limited play. See who might be the guys that get called up. Going to have an opportunity for a couple this year and a couple next year for sure. Little chopper. Step on the bag. 2 away. Not JT in the building. What's good, brother? Next up is Taylor Young. Pitches inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Fujinami and Young going at it here in the top of the 8th. Hoping the Mariners can get at least a run, but if they get skunked, I mean, again, it's not like they had all of their starters playing. I mean, we only had a few, so about half of the lineup was starters, and then we had a couple filler guys in there as well. So no Julio, no Randy Arozarena, so there was a few guys that obviously weren't not in the lineup. So I'm not really shocked that the score is what it is. And we had Emerson Hancock pitching. I mean, if we would have had somebody better, like when we had Brian Wu the day before, when we ended up doing that, he looked lights out. So what's for dinner today, not JT? What's going on? What updates do you have for us on the channel? What's going on? What's going on in your life? Hopefully your neighbors are not as crazy as normal, but hopefully things are going okay. Ooh, he hit him. Shit. Got him in the shoulder there. Fujinami, be careful, my guy. Young going to first. I hope he's okay. But, I mean, regardless if we're up 5-0 or down 5-0, it's Mariners till I die. But hopefully tomorrow's game against the Cubs will be better than this. Pitch is outside. 1-0 count to Rushing. Chopper went foul. I think he might have fouled it off himself. Hopefully Rushing is okay. He's on his knees right now in pain. Ooh, pork chops. Good choice. Oh. Oh, you're not supposed to eat the meat. Yeah. You got pets at your house? Because I know you said that they have some obnoxious dogs that they don't really care about, that they just kind of let roam around, and neighbors are rude as hell. Do you have cats or dogs of your own at the house? Yeah, I figured with the Lent. Yeah. 1-1 pitch from Fujinami to Rushing, back on his feet. 2 balls and 1 strike. Runner at first with 2 outs. It's been the Michael Conforto show here today. The former Giant and new Dodger, showing how good he will be this season for the Dodgers. Rushing, and that one is fading foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Are they your kids? It's your kids' pets? You said 3 or 4 cats. How do you have 3 or 4 or 2 or 3 dogs? How do you have 2 or 3? How does that work? I'm curious. Rushing walk, Young to second. Like, are they there at your house half of the time, and then they're at your kid's house if they live somewhere else the other half? How does that work? How do you have 3 or 4 or 2 or 3? Aaron Broncho in the box now. We're getting really deep in the depth chart once you start getting into like the 7th, 8th, and 9th, where you're getting a lot of guys that may not see, any regular season play, or very rarely. Oh, okay. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. So none are yours. So you get all of the cats and dogs. They like to take a big shit there, and they don't pick it up, huh? They leave you shit bombs to step on. Nothing worse than stepping in shit, unless you get shit on by a bird, which actually happened to me about a week ago, right on the shoulder when I was taking Paisley for a walk. First time it's ever happened to me in my life. Luckily, it didn't land on like my hat or on my do-rag or my like beanie or whatnot. Could have been much worse, but got it cleaned up right away. But I won't let that ruin my day. But I find myself turning into like angry dad, like Homer and whatnot. Like when I start seeing fucking people that don't pick up their shit from their dogs. Like sometimes if I have bags, I have to do the good deed of the day and like pick up the shit and throw it away. Because I don't want to step in that. I don't want my Paisley to step in it. And I sure as hell don't want anyone else to. It's not my goddamn responsibility to pick up other people's fucking shit from their, animals and whatnot. But, sometimes I'll have my good deed of the day, and I'll pick up after someone if it's in my normal path of walking. Right. That's true. Stepping in dog shit and you can't even, mention to the dog that, what are you doing? It's not even your dog, right? The neighbors. And we got Rodden, Thomas, and we got Ty Pete coming up here in the bottom of the 8th. Looking forward to seeing what Ty Pete can do. Yeah. Like for every good owner that, takes care of their cat or dogs, there's 5 or 10 that aren't. Like I had to start blocking some of these videos and photos based on stuff that would come up on like my Facebook and like Instagram and X and whatnot. Like some stuff is fine, if it's like cute dog and cat videos and stuff, but like sometimes I don't want to, be bombarded by stuff that isn't that, where it's kind of painful to see or watch. I want to be able to, go down that path if it's my choosing, not being bombarded by very sad and cruel, photos and videos of people that are assholes to their pets, Appreciate that. Not JT with a $5. Appreciate you, man. Every dollar counts. I got to get Paisley dog food on Monday. That'll be like $80, and then I got to take her to the vet in a couple weeks, which will probably be a couple hundred. So every dollar adds up. Thank you so much. And we can get some photos for Not JT and reflect before the stream ends. Appreciate you very much. And some people think, $5 is not a big deal. It is. If everyone had that mentality, someone else will do it. Then you get what you get at that point. But everyone that supports it, it is like kind of a snowball effect. And I appreciate you. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks. A little Cactus Jack, Not JT, coming to the building and showing love and support for me and my pup, and I appreciate that. Even with your animal situation that you got over there from your neighbors. Irresponsible pet owners are the fucking worst. Lauren in the building. What's good? Lauren is still on cloud 9 after Canada beating USA. But again, you got any updates for me for the Blue Jays? And it's always go Mariners for Lauren as well as us here, even though it hasn't been too great today. But I think tomorrow against the Cubs will be better. Rodden in the box. Pitches outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Oh, that would be awesome. I appreciate that. We need some moose. We do. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks. A little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Appreciate you. We need the fucking moose. We're going to need the moose a lot this year, I feel. Three-two pitch to Rodden. And strike 3 looking. Mariner Moose. He's in the building. Bottom of the 8th with 1 out. Next up is Thomas playing left field, coming in here. Rylan Thomas. Rhylan. And then we get Ty Pete. Two away. All right, next up is Ty Pete. Let's go, Ty. Let's go. Swag. Come on, Ty. Ty is so raw that he doesn't even have his name on the back of the jersey. Raw. Ty Pete. And single A, 269, 7 homers, Very raw player, but again, it's always cool to see those guys that have that swagger and that belief in themselves, regardless if it's single A, double A, high A, triple A. We got a lot of potential. Pitch is low and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Pitch is inside. 3 balls and 1 strike to Ty Pete. Come on, Ty. Big swing and a miss, and he goes down to 1 knee. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And got him on the corner and struck him out. It's okay, Ty. Still love you. All right, we're in the end of the 8th inning, 5-0 Dodgers. And again, if you're just tuning in, it's a Michael Conforto game, okay? Conforto doubled to center. Chavis scored. Kim scored. 2-0 Dodgers in the 3rd. Then Kike Hernandez single to right. Conforto scored. Kike to second. 3-0 Dodgers in the 3rd. Then Conforto homered to right in the 5th. 4-0 Dodgers. And then Ward grounded into a fielder's choice. And then Bracho scored, wrote out at second, and then we're sitting at 5-0 Dodgers. We got 1 more inning to go. And tomorrow we'll do the Mariners and Cubs at noon. And I know it's a little early for some, but that's the best thing that's going on for tomorrow, besides the NASCAR Xfinity Series, which probably I'm the only one that in the room will watch. And I'll watch that. And then we have NASCAR Cup Series for Phoenix, and that'll be on Sunday at 12:30 on the channel. But we'll do Cubs Mariners tomorrow on the channel at noon. Man, Cousins and Darnold, I don't know if that would be a very good fit in Seattle. I mean, Cousins is kind of washed, and Darnold, had a pretty good regular season, but it was because of the offensive line, the weapons, and the defense. So if he ends up not having the same type of weapons and protection that he did in Minnesota, production will not be the same. So I don't know. I think if I was a Seattle fan, I don't think I would want Cousins or Darnold. I would rather, if the team is going to struggle and if it's going to be a little bit of a rebuilding period, you might as well, see if there's something better than those guys. Not saying that if they drafted like Jackson Dart, that would be better, but the fans would probably accept the team more if they went for a guy like Dart, even though they have so many other options at offensive line and other needs on defense and whatnot, as well as wide receiver, depending on what they do at DK, and obviously no more Lockett. So, but I don't know. Cousins or Darnold, I think the fans would boo that. I don't think they would like that at all. But, again, if that's just for like a year or two, so be it. But I'm not sure if that's what I would want if I was a Seahawk fan. I wouldn't want personally Cousins or Darnold. And if I had to choose between one or the other, probably Darnold over Cousins at this point. Yeah, but again, if the team is not going to be very good to begin with, at least you're going to be able to have more excitement from the fans if they were going to go for a guy like Dart, But again, Dart will only be effective if there's an offensive line. So if the offensive line is not there, then there's going to be, a lot of sack lunches and pressure, regardless if it's Dart, Cousins, or Darnold. But we will wait and see. But Dart would definitely need to go somewhere that had a little bit more structure, if he wanted to have success, sooner than later. But again, this quarterback class is terrible. So again, maybe waiting until next year, would be better. And, if you ended up getting a bridge guy like Darnold for like a year, and then trying to go for a quarterback the following year. But there's no guarantee that even Cam Ward is the best quarterback, that he might not pan out. Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart, Dylan Gabriel. Like, a lot of these guys are kind of like, wait and see. And, it's probably one of the worst quarterback classes we've seen in a minute. So if you need a quarterback, you might be better off waiting until the following year. But I hope that Cam at least pans out. I don't really give a shit about Shedeur Sanders. I wish the best for him, but seems kind of like a selfish person to me. But I think Cam has got the skill set. But if he goes to a shitty team, like the Giants or the Browns, he's fucked. Again, if you go to a team that is terrible culture, again, you might ruin a player, and then you might have to wait for Cam Ward to, finish off his rookie deal and go to his second team, and then he might be able to pan out. But not a whole lot of faith in this quarterback class. Top of the ninth, 5-0 Dodgers. Runner at first with no outs. Oh, right back to the pitcher. Holy shit, it hit him. And he bobbled it there. Hopefully he's okay. Fuck, man. To be honest, with everything that I've studied, even if you were able to have the first pick in the draft and have Cam Ward, if you have one of the worst offensive lines besides the Patriots, and then now you're losing wide receivers, and you need defense on top of that and O-line, like, oh man, like I said, it kind of feels like, it's going to take a couple years, and at that point, people are going to get fired or people are going to want to leave. So I don't know. We'll see, but I'm not very confident with anybody in this draft class. Like, I'm rooting for Cam Ward. I'm going to root for all the quarterbacks to pan out, but this is definitely not a good quarterback class. The next 2 years after this draft will be better, but still, it's about culture. It's about who your owner is, your GM, your head coach, your coordinators. Do you have a line? Do you have running backs and wide receivers and tight ends to help? Do you have a defense? Do you not? So, yeah, I don't know if there really is anyone that I would say, yeah, you draft this guy, it solves all the problems. I don't think there is a guy that you can say that. And then as far as free agents, a lot of these guys that will be available are, I don't know, they're kind of bridge guys, like short-term solutions, but I don't see anybody that's going to be a free agent as a quarterback that will be a long-term solution for them, for you guys that are fans of that team. So. Yeah. But that's why it makes it kind of a terrible time with the whole Geno, DK, Lockett situation, because if those guys were to stay, then you can focus on O-line and defense, and if they don't, then you can point the blame, obviously, at the top, right? But again, now, with having more needs than just O-line and defense, it's going to take away some top-tier talent that maybe you could have gotten, on the line or on defense, and now you might have to use some of that capital or some of those options on a quarterback or a wide receiver that could have went towards O-line or defense. So kind of terrible timing for the whole Geno, DK, Lockett situation, in my opinion. But, I wish the best for the Hawks and the Hawk fan base. But, again, it might be a little rough, for the next couple of years. But hopefully things will, again, I think if once they fire John Schneider, things will get better. If that's my personal opinion. Again, if you don't have a good owner or a good GM, it ruins everything for the team. If you look, at teams in Seattle with the Kraken, we'll see if Bilisma lasts more than a couple years. He might end up getting the axe in a few years, right? But again, Mariners ownership is terrible. Obviously, Schneider should have been fired a long time ago. But again, if you end up keeping a bad seed that, maybe doesn't know how to evaluate player position groups, it's going to be a killer, for any team. It's like you can have leadership, but just because you have a leader at a coach or a GM, but if you can't evaluate player position groups, that means you're going to draft wrong. And if you draft wrong, you're going to go backwards. You're not going to go forwards, And again, you're going to get some that are going to hit, in the draft and in free agency. But if you don't have good evaluators, it really will hurt you. And I'm just hoping that you guys will get, good sooner than later. But, the way that the Rams were built, Niners, and it seems like their run is starting to kind of come to an end. But as long as they have Lynch and they have Shanahan, they will still be relevant, and it's going to be a competitive division and whatnot. But I definitely would say hell no to Kirk Cousins in Seattle. Not a damn chance, because he won't be able to make it throughout the whole season. He'll get hurt. Not reliable. And I guess Sam Darnold would be better. But again, like, what Sam Darnold do you want? If you're going to pay Sam Darnold to come in and think he's going to be the Sam Darnold from the Vikings, it's not going to be. It's going to be the Sam Darnold on the Jets. That's the kind of Sam Darnold you're going to get. Maybe slightly better depending on what you surround him around. But, Sam Darnold is a name. But again, if you think that he's going to do exactly what he did for Minnesota, for Seattle, or another team, if you don't have the same type of, surrounding pieces, things are going to be different. Just like when you end up getting new players from another team, like for the Mariners, for example. Just because we get a player that was great, that was batting 320, on the Padres, doesn't mean that he's going to bat 320 in Seattle. He might end up going from 320 on the Padres and going to the Mariners and batting 220. So, the ballpark, obviously, and then, a lot of other factors as well. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I definitely, I wouldn't draft a quarterback this year. And again, if I was going to go for a bridge quarterback, I would, I have to see who's available out of the bridge quarterbacks and, see, what's available at that given time. So, but again, if the offensive line doesn't get fixed, it's not going to matter if you have a good quarterback, bad quarterback, elite quarterback, bridge quarterback. It's going to be a very difficult time. Top of the ninth, runners at first and second, no outs. Next up is Ward. See what Ryan can do. Yeah, but the problem is also with Seattle, with O-line. O-line should have been addressed for the last 10 to 12 years since the Legion of Boom era, and they didn't have good evaluators of the offensive line overall. And again, if they did, they wouldn't be in the hole that they're in right now. Again, it's like you might be able to evaluate other positions, but again, if you can't evaluate O-line or D-line, on a consistent basis, it's going to hurt the team dramatically. And instead of going forward, you're going to go backwards. And then if those guys get hurt on top of that, then you're even going further back. Ward pops up. Oh, yeah, Schneider should have gotten the axe, bro. Yeah. But instead of Schneider getting the firing, it's always the head coaches and the coordinators around him. His job is safe because his position with the owner, they're tight. But again, I think that if Seattle fired him years ago and got somebody better, they would be in a better position today. And hopefully one day for Hawk fans, they get rid of him and get someone better, because I think it'll be better for the team. I just call a spade a spade. He's had his chances. He's been there. He's done that. We know what he's about. And again, I think that, getting rid of him would be good for the team overall moving forward. So. I mean, like I said, if you have this naive, blind faith, in every single, owner, GM, head coach, coordinator, player, backup, and if you have this naive feeling that, oh, they're on the team, so that's good. That doesn't mean that they're good. They're just means that they're on the team right now, and you have to be able to filter out the good and the bad, and then making sure that you get, your type of players, but also you have to be able to find evaluators to get the most out of each position group. And again, even going back with in the Pete Carroll era with Schneider, the offensive line, they didn't really know what they were doing. They, again, we know Pete Carroll was a great leader, and again, and a great, motivator, and a guy that cared about the families and the players. But as far as evaluating talent on the offensive line, they dropped the ball, and they did that since the Legion of Boom. And again, if they were better on evaluating offensive line over the years overall, things would be, I think, a little bit better for them at this point. So, I mean, you got to think they got the second worst offensive line with the Patriots. And it's hard to be able to win games when you got the second worst offensive line overall. hard. It's hard for it. And Gino actually overachieved based on having the second worst line pretty much in his tenure there. But again, he always got shit on by a lot of the fans, whether win or loss for the most part. Every once in a while, people would praise him, but as soon as they lost, even when he had a pretty good game, they would blame it on him, Or if he ended up having a sack and then they lost the game, oh, he's terrible, get rid of him, But it's the offensive line. If it was better, maybe he wouldn't have got the sack lunch and the game would have ended in a different way. So, but again, I evaluate everyone fairly, I don't give special preferential treatment to anyone. If I think they're good, they're good. If they've been there for a while and they need to be replaced. But again, sometimes, owners and GMs, they handcuff the team. And, some, teams want to spend money, like the Dodgers. Others, like the Mariners, are cheap as shit, And again, it makes you go mad, But I definitely think that Schneider should have gotten the boot, Again, and they decided to go with Pete and give him the boot and the coordinators and all that. And, at some point, you're going to have to. And again, GMs don't typically get fired often. So it's like they have this kind of feeling that they're a little invincible compared to a coach. Because typically a coach or a coordinator are the first ones to get the fucking drop kick in the boot. GMs, rarely you hear them getting fired, year in and year out. It's pretty rare. Every couple of years, you'll hear a headline, oh, a GM got fired, really? But coaches and coordinators, it's like all the time. And a lot of the times, the GM is the one that should have gotten fired, from the team. But that's how, upper management works. Sometimes guys get special, preferential treatment and whatnot. Throw to second, fourth out. 2 away, run comes in, 6-0 Dodgers. I think Luka is a superstar. I think Luka, brings the hype to LA, gives them a superstar after LeBron. With the simple fact that he doesn't play defense, I don't really know if they're ever going to be able to win anything. They got Austin Reeves, who's nice, the great white hype. You got LeBron, right? You got Luka, but who plays defense on the team? Anthony Davis, and he's no longer on the team anymore. So, and obviously Stephen A is a bitch. And again, everyone that does coverage on ESPN, they don't even know basketball. Like, all they want to do is hot takes. Like, they brought in Kai Cenat, and all they did is talk about LeBron and Jordan. Stupid. How about talk about, like, the Cavs and the Thunder and the small market teams that are doing well, instead of just talking about Jordan or LeBron or the Lakers all the time? And that's why Charles Barkley was talking shit, because they're going to be hired by that particular company. Hot takes are over. No one cares about that because they're not real. And again, the people that are on ESPN are fucking morons. Like, if you look at Stephen A and that whole group and Kendrick Perkins, they're dumb as shit. Again, it's like, if all you want to do is talk about LeBron and the Lakers, it really shows that you know nothing, and it's kind of sad. Like, you need better individuals to cover the sport like they do in football with, like, Nina Kimes and some of these others, even though she's not necessarily my cup of tea, but I respect that she's super intelligent and she calls it how she sees it and covers all the teams. I think Orlovsky's kind of annoying to me, but, he's kind of more of a hot take guy, but if you look at, like, certain shows and groups, obviously with Barkley and Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaq and Ernie, they are much better. That might be one of the best things that the NBA has, and again, it's for entertainment, but at least they have intelligence. And I feel like on ESPN, all they are is entertainers. They don't actually watch the games. It's all about, just being an entertainer and causing drama, arguing, saying this player is better than this, instead of actually going over, like, Giannis hitting 20,000, the OKC Thunder and the Cavs, playing great this season. Every narrative doesn't have to be about the Lakers and LeBron, even though Adam Silver is probably drooling, hoping that it's Lakers Celtics in the finals so they can get some fucking ratings because the NBA is in shambles and whatnot. So, that's kind of my take on it. But and obviously LeBron stepped up to Stephen A because Stephen A was talking shit about Bronny. And, LeBron watches those shows. And, I mean, what does Stephen A think, that LeBron is not going to hear about it from family, Bronny, his wife, his other kids, teammates? People are, himself. Like, you think you're going to talk shit on national TV about his son and then he's just going to sit there and act like you didn't, So good for LeBron, to make Stephen A shit his pants, And I actually saw a statistic going over how much money a lot of these guys make. It's ridiculous. Like if you look at a lot of these guys that are, sports, personalities, almost every big one in the top 10 makes more than 10 million a year, and they're terrible. I mean, you could get the best Twitch and the best YouTubers for a fraction of that. That would be much more informative and just as entertaining, but I feel like sports talk is completely dead. And again, they buried it by having terrible people. Just because you're a former athlete doesn't mean you're good on the microphone or have good opinions. So, we'll see where it all goes. But, I feel bad for this younger generation that has to grow up with all the idiots that are on TV and podcasts. At least when I was growing up, we had guys that were actually respectable, like Stuart Scott, where ESPN actually showed highlights, and it was a good show. Things have changed dramatically in the last 25 years. And I really feel bad because you get a lot of these people that are making the youth and the adults dumber if you actually listen and take word for word what Stephen A. and some of these idiots are saying. If you actually believe what he's saying is true, you're going to be an idiot, based on the takes that he has. So be careful watching those because you only get dumber. Bottom of the ninth, Miles Mastrobuoni, the former Cub. Mastrobuoni. There we go. Nice job, Miles. Oh, here we go. We're only down by 6 runs. We're only down 6. Oh, baby! Hunt with the homer. Boom! 6-2. Mariner Moose is well alive. Woo! Let's go. Let's go. Bring that electricity. I knew we weren't going to get a 0. I had a feeling, just a weird feeling, that we would get at least 1, but then my dream came true. Boom! 2-run homer. And we're going to obviously lose, and the sports gods were like, yeah, you guys have gotten kind of fucked up this game. Let's give you something to cheer about. Look at Hunt. It is gone, baby. Nice job. Blake Hunt, baby. Hey, every blind squirrel gets a nut once in a while. Smack the shit out of that ball. Let's go. That's great momentum going into the Cubs, obviously, tomorrow. I mean, and even with me, like the only 2 shows that I could actually enjoy and watch were the Good Morning Football with the original cast and the Pat McAfee show. And then even now, it's kind of hard for me to watch those shows. Like Pat's show is probably the one that's easiest to watch. And I feel like with all the different rotating pieces in Good Morning Football, it'll never, be like Kay and Nate and obviously with, Peter, stealing my material and having Kyle. Kyle and Angry Runs is great. Peter's a fraud. And again, it's like, Jamie's okay, and what she does. She's very well spoken, but it doesn't have the same kind of vibe. And then they always try to bring in someone, they had McCourty, and then you're bringing in, different individuals, but no one will be able to relate, as far as a player and someone that you could like be at a bar with and have a beer with and be like one of the guys. And Nate can be professional. He can be a former NFL player, but he can also be one of the boys. And that's why it works so well with Kay and Nate. I mean, Kay was the pretty face. Then you had Nate, with a former player, but he was down to earth, likable. Then you had Kyle with the energy and the angry runs. And then Peter was the nerd. But then we found out that Peter was a fraud because he doesn't do his own work. He just goes to other people's channels and other people's websites and copies their material. If there was a fraud, it's definitely him. Bottom of the ninth, 6-2 Dodgers. $45 dono, bringing that electricity, baby. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, and a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. And I appreciate it because, again, on Monday, I got to go get Paisley food, which is going to be like $80 for a month. And then I got to take her to, have her yearly visit, which is, probably going to cost a couple hundred. And that's in a couple weeks. So every dollar will add up and count. Thank you so much. Reflect. Holding it, Don. Thank you so much. Goat status. 3-2 pitch. And did that hit him? Ball 4 on Arroyo. Let's go. It's no longer 6-0. Next up, Hogan Windish. Let's go, Hogan. And we ain't talking Hollywood. We ain't talking Hulk. We ain't talking Horace. Well, again, I have to go take her, for like a yearly checkup, and I have to be able to see because, like, underneath her tail and then above, her butt, there's a little, like, kind of circle there. I'm not sure if it's like bruising or but a lot of times that could be a medical thing. So I have to see if this is just, normal for her or not. But hopefully it's nothing serious and whatnot. So there we go. Go, baby, go, go, baby, go, go, go. There we go. 6-3 Dodgers. There we go. Nice job. We're on a run, baby. Mariner Moose in full effect. We were 6-0. Now we're 6-3 in the bottom of the ninth. Hogan Windish with an RBI. He doesn't even have a name on the back of his jersey. A lot of these guys don't. Next up, one of me and Reflect's favorites that's up and coming. 0-for-1 with a K. Feldman Celestin, switch hitter. Let's go, baby. What a comeback. But I'm hoping that it's not anything serious, but I have read online, anytime there's like certain type of bruising underneath the tail, kind of like above where the butthole is, so to speak, that sometimes that can be kind of serious. So I'm hoping that, it's nothing serious and whatnot. And, I don't necessarily know if it's just like, kind of birthmark or area. I went back and tried to look at old photos of her where she, I took a picture from behind that if I could zoom in and I could kind of see with her tail up, if this is something that she's had for a long time, or if it's something that's new that's developed and whatnot. But I'm hoping that it's not, anything serious. So Dodger pitcher goes down. And they're replacing him after the Mariners bring in 3, and we have Feldman Celestin coming up into the box. Let's go, baby. Yeah. Well, again, I appreciate every single person, and, my work ethic and my grind, are on another level. I don't know anyone else that, is going to walk their dog 7 days a week for an hour and a half, 3 times a day on top of spending quality time with her and doing all the research and the film study, covering every team and every fucking sport, including NASCAR and WWE. So I know my hard work will pay off. And, again, it's about quality over quantity. And again, if that means that I have to boot out people that aren't a fit on this channel and it takes me longer than others to hit my goal, so be it. Rather than having more people in the room and a toxicity in the room, then I would end up losing out on quality pieces like some of y'all that are in the room. And for some YouTubers, they don't care. As long as they're making money and they're having subs and views, that's what they care about. And, I feel that my grind is definitely going to be a little bit different than others. But again, we've made some great friendships and relationships here on the channel. And I feel that, I'm the most diverse, on YouTube, covering many, many things on a very high level. And it's just a matter of time before, good things start coming my way and our way for the NWSF and our family members and our channel members. 6-3 Dodgers, bottom of the ninth with no outs, runner at second. Feldman Celestin, the switch hitter, in the box. Mariner Moose definitely worked. Let's go. Celestin. Pitches outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Any chance it stays under 9.5 for your bet? Probably not. Just considering, I mean, there is a chance. I would say probably 30% chance, but it really depends on what we get out of these first 2 outs and if we can actually move the guy over to third or not. So, yeah, there is a chance. Actually, I'd probably say 40%. The Mariners, we go on rallies, but at some point, we may be due for strikeout, or strikeout, pop up, and the game is over. So if you do have a bet going, you might still win. But I would love for us to be able to get at least 1 more. But, I mean, we got 3 in the bottom of the 9th. That's pretty damn good, more than most people could, expect in a situation when you're down 6-0. One away. There goes Celestin. Yeah, we need to add on. I'd love for us to get at least 1 more. Kind of makes you wonder, shit, if we could have just gotten a couple runs early on, maybe this game is like winnable, or we're a threat. Like it's 6-5 right now, and then the runner at second with 2 outs to go, and then maybe we actually have a real threat of coming back and tying or winning. But couldn't really get anything going here until the bottom of the 9th. Pitches outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Bottom of the 9th, 6-3 Dodgers. Runner at second with 1 out, and we have Sundstrom 0 for 1 in the box. Yeah, I hope so too. And plus, there's not very many people, that are able to go full time. There we go. Bang, single. Sorry, Spencer. Boom. 6-4 Dodgers. There we go. Your bet might have been fucked right there, but for us Mariner fans, we've been waiting all night for some offensive production. So I'm sorry about your bet, but we got another one. Boom, baby. Oh, nice. I love that we're getting title changes on NXT, Raw, and SmackDown, something that you never would have seen in the Vince McMahon era. Let's go. Let's go. Mariner Moose really is making a factor here. I mean, all the Mariner players that are in, they don't even have their names on the back of the jerseys. That's how raw these guys are. Single A, high A, double A, triple A. I mean, half of the guys that have been playing since like the 6th inning on don't even have a name on the back. Brock Rodden in the box. Let's see if he can add on. 6-4. Great comeback. And this should hopefully carry over tomorrow when we play the Cubs at noon, and that's what we'll stream. Sunday will be NASCAR Cup Series. Phoenix, Monday, probably Monday Night Raw. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday will either be Blazers, Kraken, or Mariners. So depending on what we got going on. 2-0 count from Rodriguez to Rodden. Pitches outside, 3-0 count. Holy hell, we might actually come back and win this game. What the hell is going on here? Let's go, baby. I don't care if it's spring training or not, baby. A win is a win, and a comeback is a comeback. And again, you just want to get better. And again, nothing all the way to the bottom of the 9th, and we've been able to punch out 4 runs here in the bottom of the 9th, and we got a runner at first with 1 out. Can we keep it going? Can we keep the love and the momentum going, baby? Pitch in there for a strike, even though that looked like a ball. We don't have any challenges left. I think that would have been. And then Rodden strikes out. Fuck! 2 away. All right, Thomas is the last one. Oh, I would never bet on preseason. Are you kidding me? I mean, if you just want to throw money into the toilet, yeah. I mean, you know, anything can happen in preseason, especially when you don't know how long the pitchers are going to go, when guys are going to get substituted. You know, your guys are not going to get 4 or 5 opportunities, you know, to be able to hit and help you win. It really is luck. You know, you don't really know what's going to happen. All right, let's see what Ryland Thomas can do. Come on, Ryland. Pitch is low and inside. 1-0 count. And I like the challenge, you know, where it's immediate with the graphic on the board. It's going to help keep these umps honest. You know, we don't have Angel Hernandez anymore, but it seems like him and his brothers and cousins are sprinkled all over the league. Oh, just foul. Holy fuck. I mean, umps, you know, were fucking so bad last year, and not just for the Mariners, across the board. Reflect with a 10, reflect with a 10, reflect with a 20, reflect with a 5, reflect with a 45, and we got Sarah and JT with 5ers as well. I appreciate you guys. And we'll get photos here at the end. Popped up. And word is there, and that is the game. But you know what? We lost. But, I mean, hell of an effort. Being down 6-0 and getting 4 in the bottom of the 9th, that's going to carry over to the Cubs tomorrow, and hopefully we get the dub against them when we go live tomorrow around noon. All right, so for Sarah, I was going to get Aaron Judge, but we got caught up in this game. And then not JT, you let me know. And then reflect anything that you want, let me know as well. Well, let's get a few photos up. I got to delete some of these other ones, so give me a sec. Nice job, Mariner Moose. You did your job. It went from being a game where we were just getting absolutely dominated to a game where the excitement finally came through. Appreciate you, Sarah. Not JT, you got an athlete that you want to showcase, or doesn't even have to be sport related or even baseball related. If you got a band or a singer or, whatever, a car, whatever that you're thinking, wrestler, whatever's on your mind, I got you. I gotta erase all these Dodger photos since it'll be Cubs tomorrow. And I'll have to get all those updated before I end up doing a couple walks. Shout out to Michael Conforto, the former Giant. He was the reason why we lost. But again, I wish him the best for the Dodgers. Just hopefully he doesn't tear us up next time around when we see him in the regular season. Not JT photo, anything that you want to be able to see, and reflect anything that you want to be able to see as well. I'll go with some of Reflect's favorites in the bucket that I have while we wait. Who's the man? You the man. And we got to get some Gino. Gino to Brock Bowers. Gino to Brock Bowers. Gino to Brock Bowers. Chip Kelly, celebrate. It'd be fun. Gino's going to look good in a Raider uniform. He'll look good in those colors. And depending on who they bring in, they may actually be wishing that he never left. We'll see what happens. Who's the man? You the man. We haven't been able to pull those up for you in a few streams, so this would be a great time to sprinkle it in. There's a few people on the channel that have files for themselves. Megan, Reflect, and a few others. So it makes it a little bit easier for me to navigate with the thousands of options that I have. You got to be quick in this internet game. Beast mode, Macklemore, what a duo. I gotta make some more room here. Now, JT, you got an individual, something that you want to be able to do? Sarah wants like a breakfast photo. What kind of breakfast photo do you want? Proud of the Mariners for fighting back. Mariner Moose came to play, baby. Could have been 6-0, but 6-4 is a hell of a lot better. Before I even saw that, that's what I figured. My ESP is strong. Yeah, LeBron is not Jordan. Even Kobe is better than LeBron. I mean, LeBron, obviously all-around player, but again, if you look at, titles, clutch factor, it's not even close. Plus, a lot of the people that say LeBron never watched Kobe or Jordan playing in real life. You know, maybe saw something on YouTube, but it's not the same unless you actually watch them play. Got another one that's like the color version, but it's not like big enough to fit the screen. It'll be smaller. I don't know why they did the black and white and just highlighted Jordan. I mean, I get it, but I mean, this is the one that we want to see where it's actually like color and whatnot. But I think there's a photo better than the Jordan last shot. It would be this one right here. If you want the most iconic Jordan photo ever, this one right here. Not going to be a better one than that, baby. Hey, Sean Camp, where are you going? Jack, where are you going? I'll finish off with an epic one that you've probably never seen before. Oh my. MJ all day. Russell, Rodman, Malone, everyone just in awe. I got to take Paisley for a walk. I got to eat dinner here as well. And I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. Anything else that I can get you reflect? We got Sarah. We got Not JT supporting as well. Appreciate that. Reflect with a 10. Reflect with a 10. Reflect with a 20. Reflect with a 5. Reflect with a 45. Sarah with a 5. Not JT with a 5. I appreciate that very, very much. Have a good one, my guy. Appreciate you. Shout out to Sarah, Judah, Natman, Reflect, Megan, Not JT, all of y'all. I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very much. Final score, Dodgers 6, Mariners 4. And again, we'll be live tomorrow at noon for the Cubs and Mariners, 12:30 on Sunday for NASCAR Cup Series, 5 o'clock on Monday for Monday Night Raw. And then we'll see what we got for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Blazers, Kraken, Mariners, one of those. And I appreciate you guys very, very much. And every dollar counts for helping Paisley as well as myself to be able to handle the bills and whatnot. You guys are the best. I love you. And I got one question for you. We know talk sports like us. Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Love you guys, and I appreciate you guys. And I'm out. Gang.